probably a good few years since I moved to Dublin. I'm from Wexford, so I still consider myself Wexford. Nearly resents being in the city all this time, trapped. And over the years, all the different candidates have stood in this area, from Kevin to Mick himself to Michael Nolan. So there's many people over the years who stood on the platform for the party. But I don't think any of them would mind me saying that Shane is an absolute credit to Mick and Teresa and to the party, and just for him to come into the local council, to stand in the election, take the seat, and just throw himself at the role in such a fantastic way. It's brilliant to see a young person kind of going forward into politics like that. It really is excellent. And as I said, it just gives me a huge pleasure and huge honour to introduce Shane O'Brien, hopefully the next Sinn Fein team.
We were worried that we wouldn't fill the room, so first of all I just want to say thank you for coming here tonight. I want to thank the Cllr and our musicians, Dawn for agreeing to chair, and Piers for delivering a wonderful speech, and I want to thank Jamie Moran for one of the best renditions of recitals of The Rhythm of Time that I've heard, and I was listening to it, I suppose Piers kind of touched on it, but it is something that I've been thinking about our campaign and through being involved in politics over the past number of years. And as I was listening to that poem, I was thinking about Bobby Sands and men like him and women like him, Casements and Connellys, Mara Drums and Sheena Campbells, and just to be associated with those people and to follow on that tradition and to take part in what has been a long struggle fills me with pride, and it's an absolute honour to do so. So thank you for that, Jamie. Sinn Fein is the only party whose policies, core values, remain underpinned by the principles outlined in the 1916 proclamation. That's a fact. Principles of equality, liberty and social justice. We're the only party who remain committed to the removal of partition and the creation of an Ireland united, an Ireland of equals. I would like to pay tribute to all those, like Don has mentioned, who stood before me in this position, who put themselves forward to represent this constituency and have done their best to attaining a TD in this area before. I would like to thank all those who have helped out, done leaflets, fundraising, postering, throughout the good times and through the bad. And I thank you, and like that poem says, I remind you, you were right, and we are right now. My presence, I suppose, at this podium may seem somewhat unlikely. On the other hand, it almost feels inevitable. I feel like my presence here to a large degree has been brought about by my parents, by my upbringing, by my own life experiences. My dad, Glasgow man, 5th generation, 6th generation. My mum from Cllr fell in love, as young couples do, married, and they moved up to the sticks, Ballybrand. Buy a house, start a family. They instilled in me a very strong work ethic, a sense of social justice, but most importantly, they treated myself and my brother Connor with love and kindness. And in that environment, my questioning of the status quo and my curiosity to learn thrived. So I thank them for that. I suppose I left college a little early, 2 or 3 times, and began my working life eager, really, to take part in the Celtic Tiger Ireland, which was widely proclaimed by all the political establishment and the media like the only road to be on. I felt like I was in a hurry, we were missing out, there's going to be no houses left. Actually, there is no houses left. Long after that, or not long after I left and joined and went working in the bank, the financial collapse happened, the economy collapsed, and the ensuing crisis developed. The Tiger arrived in Ireland, and I left to travel the world and experience life outside the Emerald Island. I arrived back to a very different Ireland in 2010. The anger, the disgust remained, but with that there was also hope. A hope that those responsible for the crisis would be held accountable. I hope that finally this country could rebuild and move in a positive and different direction. It was around this time that I had a light bulb moment myself, a call to arms, a moment to take action. I knew that I had to do something. I could no longer criticise or commentate or tell my dad that Sinn Fein should be doing X, Y, and Z from the sidelines. That was no longer good enough. I had to participate. I had to play a part, whatever that part may be. So I suppose in my mind, the election, or the general election in 2011 was supposed to be different. To those who graced this earth longer than me, perhaps never was known to be, or what was on offer. But I was 25 at the time, and I listened to the promises that were made and now being broken. And I thought we might see change. Not radical, but at least a bit better. Labour promised to protect workers, ordinary families. Fine Gael promised a democratic revolution. Bondholders will be burnt. Does anyone remember these promises?
Yeah.
How naive was I? Alas, they lied to me, but they also lied to you. And what has happened since that election in 2011 has been nothing short of criminal. Some of those who were directly associated with the collapse of our economy continue living lavish lifestyles, supported through NAMA funding from the public purse. Failed businessmen and bankrupt developers are deemed fit to continue running their failed enterprises with public funds. Banks have been bailed out by the people. However, they now engage in evicting people from their homes. Those responsible for the state of affairs were and continue to be rewarded with obscene pensions and salaries, paid out again of the public purse to maintain their party lifestyles. Those innocent of any wrongdoing, young and old alike, were asked to make the sacrifices necessary for the recovery of the economy. Enda, Eamon and Joni seem to forget the national broadcast that reminded us we weren't responsible for this crisis, but we were certainly going to pay. As they, along with their cronies, elected on a mandate of change, decided that change was not needed. They decided to stick, to carry out the Fianna Fáil plan verbatim, while the entire country screamed twist. I believe 2016 has the potential to be a truly momentous year. Since the centenary commemoration of the 1916 Rising and the great sacrifice its leaders made allows us an opportunity to reflect on the state of our country today and issue a progress report on the nation envisioned versus the nation achieved. If I was to write this report, it would be very short and sweet, and I don't think the government would like to read it. If I was to write this report, I feel that those involved in 1916 and the Republican movement throughout the decades sought to bring about a society based on the needs of many rather than the greed of a few. But in reality, we've ended up with the opposite. The greed of a few is how this country operates. The great principles of equality outlined in the 1916 proclamation of the Irish Republic remain unfulfilled. A dream never realised. James Connolly's great-grandson, recently said at a rally I attended that the proclamation is the yardstick by which we can measure the true freedom of our nation. It cannot be revised or rewritten, take note of it, diminished or deemed irrelevant. It remains a challenge to us all, as we set about building our country. Sinn Fein can and must take the lead in this renewal, in this rebirth of a proper, real republic. Justice and equality for everybody, all citizens. Nobody abandoned, nobody exploited, nobody left behind. Politics must be returned to the people, and faith restored in the political system. That is the challenge of our time, the challenge which I, as your candidate, is up to facing. Is Sinn Fein ready to lead the next government? Am I ready to be part of that government? Hell yeah, I am. I'm up for the challenge ahead.